From Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, this is Tar Heel Illustrated publisher Andrew Jones along with staff writer Jacob Turner. And about an hour and 20 minutes ago, Chaz Surratt intercepted a pass at the goal line to preserve a 20-17 victory over Duke. For the Tar Heels, they improved to 4-4 overall, 3-2 in the crazy ACC Coastal Division, which means they're in the thick of the race.
Yep.
A team that makes as many mistakes as they do, but still does enough good things, is finding themselves in the thick of this thing, Jacob. And my column that you can read on TarHeelIllustrated.com is about all the boxes that have been checked and kind of the identities of this team as they continue to check boxes. And I think the identity is, let's do enough to give ourselves drama so we can sort of overcome it occasionally.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
That is a great summary of it right there.
In all seriousness, the Tar Heels did a lot of good things today. Defensively, they had some tremendous possessions. They had some great plays by some receivers. Daz Newsome had a couple terrific catches. Bo Corrales, another great touchdown catch. And Sam Howell completes 10 passes and throws for 237 yards, something like that. I mean, he was not very good today, but when he connected, he was really good. That kind of synopsizes this season, this team today, but they get the win, Jacob, and they were very excited about it. Mac Brown, now the all-time winningest coach in Carolina history with 73. They got the ring the victory bell for the first time in, 4 years? And, like I said, they're in the hunt in the ACC Coastal.
Yeah, it was a crazy game to say the least. I mean, I was down here on the field doing some photography for us, and just being on the sidelines, kind of seeing it from a different perspective, because I'm usually in the press box, 99% of the time. Just seeing it down here and how things unfolded, it was just crazy. It was just a crazy game. I was in the corner over there when Javonte tries to dive in the end zone, fumbles it. Right before that, a couple plays before that, Carolina converts through Daz Newsome through the air. Could have kicked the field goal on 4th down, go up by 6.
Yep. And
that really could have come back to haunt him if Chaz Surratt doesn't pick that off, a few minutes later. So Javonte fumbles down there. Duke drives down the field like we've seen so many teams come to Kenan. So many teams play Carolina, and Carolina gives up these late game-winning drives on defense where they give up silly penalties, silly things happen. They give up big plays. They can't seem to make a stop. And then Duke does one of the weirdest play calls I've ever seen. They do it where they hand it off to the running back, and he tries to throw it over the middle and right to Chaz Surratt. And I think Chaz Surratt was almost a little surprised. He was like, "Oh, the ball's right here."
Tar Heels had it scouted.
I know.
Jay Bateman,
They did.
They said they ran that exact play against Army a couple of years ago. The players were aware of it. So Bateman told them this is what they're going to run. So were all the Carolina fans that were critical of the Carolina staff that Clemson knew what they were going to run with the 2-point conversion. Maybe Virginia Tech knew what they were going to run last week. The Tar Heels staff flipped the script on this one. They knew what Duke was going to run, and they beat him at it. Surratt, another great. This is redemption. This is about redemption. And I'm excited because I love seeing kids redeem themselves. Noah Ruggles, benched during the week because of his struggles, missed 2 field goals in overtime last week, kicks the game-winning field goal here today. Chaz Surratt, the last time he played Duke on this field, he threw the interception that it basically cost Carolina. It didn't cost them the game, but it sealed their hopes of actually getting a W against the Blue Devils. He's the guy in the end zone making the play. He made a ton of plays today, but he's the guy that corrals the ball and saves this thing, ends it for the Tar Heels. And, of course, this program. They had lost 3 straight to Duke. Larry Fedora went 2-5 against Duke. The Tar Heels needed to win. They needed to beat Duke. They needed to win a Coastal game. They needed to beat an in-state team. They had come in here with 3 straight losses to State, 3 straight losses to ECU, 3 straight losses to Duke, and losses the last time they played Wake and App. The only other FBS team in the state that they didn't lose to the last time they played them was Charlotte because they've never played them. So they needed to do this. This is about checking off boxes. This is about redemption. This is about exercising demons, and the Tar Heels did an awful lot of that this afternoon.
Yeah, it was a weird game, like I said earlier, because it kind of reminded me a little bit of last week. Because I don't know if you remember after the game last week where I kind of talked about, okay, Carolina has a 17-7 lead with 6 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first half. They're behind in the locker room, 21-17. Carolina comes out in the second half, gets that big play, touchdown, Daz Newsome, and then what? I don't even know how many minutes it was later. It couldn't be more than 10 minutes. Duke has the lead.
It was 8 minutes in real life time.
Yeah, they have the lead, and you're kind of, you could see it in the crowd. The crowd's kind of shocked, like, oh, here we go again. And then Javonte, I told you right after the game walking down here, I said it was very reminiscent to me of the Virginia Tech game last year when Michael Carter fumbled down there, and then Virginia Tech drives down the field, scores, game over pretty much. Duke was, 3 yards away from doing that today. But like you mentioned, Carolina redeemed themselves today. Carolina kind of showed their identity of, okay, we're good enough to win games and be in games a lot of the times. We're also bad enough at times to lose games like this in tight situations. But I think today was a little bit of a weight off the players' shoulders. I was talking to Bo Corrales after the game, and just the vibe compared to what it was like last week. I kind of wrote about the sting that last week's loss had for this team. And then to win in a fashion like they did tonight, I mean, it just has to feel so good for this team going forward. And then you top it off, Virginia loses to Louisville.
Yep.
Now they're playing for first place in the Coastal next
Pitt
week.
loses at home to Miami.
Yeah, now they're playing for first place in the Coastal next
they
week.
went out. They're going to Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's what it says now. And that's
they control their own destiny
It's
again.
pretty. We're back to that again.
Yeah.
But this could all change next week because this is the Coastal, and I think Carolina is emblematic of what the whole division's like. And you know, the reason that Duke had the ball at the 3-yard line, actually it was the 3 because they had the face mask on when they stopped them, and it was the face mask on. I can't remember who it was on. Was it Strobridge?
Who grabbed the face mask?
The face mask call against Carolina that gave Duke new life on that possession. Then there was the pass interference in the corner that moved the ball from the 3 to the 2, and you think, well, Duke's got 18 seconds left.
Yeah,
they don't have any timeouts. You know, run one into the pile. You can stop and spike the ball, and you're still on 3rd down. You still can run 2 more plays. It's amazing the call that Duke made, but Carolina was prepared. I mean, that's the last thing I would have expected to see Duke run in that situation. But the Tar Heels were prepared. Credit to Coach Brown and his staff and Coach Bateman, and the kids executed it. Guys, I talk about growth all the time. Some of you probably think, stop talking about growth. But let's face it, this program is not even 12 months old in the Mac Brown era. Today is the 26th?
Yeah.
So tomorrow's October 27th. Mac Brown was hired November 27th last year.
Yeah,
tomorrow the program is 11 months old in the new Mac Brown era, and think about how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Even in defeat like last week, even in the games they've lost like Clemson, even the App State game when they're awake, when they fight back and have the ball with the chance to do something at the end. These kids are in it every week. This is a resilient bunch, and credit goes to the kids, but also to the staff, because they've created a culture that, you know, no one's left behind. Everyone is moving forward at the same time. Some guys may play better one week as opposed to another week, so not everyone performs at the same level, but their minds, their psyche, and their ability to put aside things that don't go well and move forward is really a collective thing. And that's one of the most impressive developments we've seen in the program this season.
Oh yeah, it's super positive. I mean, it's crazy to think Mac Brown's only been here, tomorrow, a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
11 months.
Yeah, and tonight, he passes Dick Crum for all-time wins. I think it's 73 in his time in Carolina. So for him to come back and do what he's done, I mean, and Javonte said it in the post-game interview, which you can see on our YouTube channel. We could easily be 8-0 right now. We could easily be 0-8 right now. It's just kind of been one of those seasons for this team so far. So you got to give them credit for what they did tonight. They found a way to win. And when it comes down to it, what did Virginia Tech do last week? They found a way to win. Carolina found a way to win tonight. No matter how you get it, they found a way to win, whether it was Noah Ruggles coming back in, hitting big field goals, Chad Surratt making big plays at the end, Sam Howell not having his greatest game as he walks by us, but, making big plays when he could and helping this team score. So a good win for Carolina. Now the focus shifts to Virginia next week, which we'll go into later in the week, obviously. But, I mean, the Coastal Division is wide open, and, I mean, who knows what's going to happen next week? You can't even predict it.
They're a 4-4 team. That's who they are.
That's exactly
I think they should be. You could say, well, they could be this, they could be that. Well, they're right smack dab in the middle. They're 4-4.
That's exactly what
this is what they should be. Now, what are they going to be over the last 4 games this season? They got Mercer, and then they got the 3 conference games. Virginia at home, at Pitt, and at NC State. They're 4-4.
Yeah,
this is who they are. I'm going to emphasize this again. What are they going to be the next month? We'll see. I think that when you win a game like this and you show that you could bounce back from disappointment, they bounced back from the way they lost to Clemson. And they went to Atlanta and took care of business. They bounced back from the way they lost at Blacksburg, and they took care of business today against a rival at home, a team that was prepared to beat them. This says a lot about this team. I think the last 4 games are going to continue growing. If they grow enough, they might win this division.
I know, it's wide open. It's up to them,
Absolutely.
It's in their hands again.
For Jacob Turner, this is Andrew Jones. You've been watching our post-game coverage from Kenan Stadium. The Tar Heels 20, Duke 17. Don't forget to go to our site, TarHeelIllustrated.com. Check out all of our post-game coverage and everything else that we do following Carolina basketball, Carolina football, and recruiting. And if you like us, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to us here also on YouTube. That way you get notifications every time we put out one of our videos, and we have a ton of videos that come out. For Jacob, this is AJ. Thanks.